What's up, what's good, y'all? What's sizzling? It's your favorite frustrated creative Showlace and in for another video. Welcome back. How y'all doing? Thank you guys so much over your support on my last video. Like, honestly, I worked my butt off and I'm so happy that the video went well. Thank you guys so much for the engagement and everything. We are still coming back, so I know that like it's taking some time for the algorithm to work, but I know it's already working in my favor, so it's all good. Thank you guys so much for the comments, and honestly, thank you. I also want to thank you guys so much for engaging on my last Instagram challenge post, guessing the theme song or the song that I was going ahead to use in the video. Thank you so much. Like, I got an overwhelming amount of people checking it out, so thank you, thank you, thank you. So as you guys may know, I am doing a challenge on my social media platforms, specifically Instagram right now, where I will post on my story a little snippet of the video and you gotta guess the topic, or I'm going to post a video with a sound on it that's related to my video that I'm going to be dropping, and you have to guess the sound. So the first person who gets a chance to DM me and then guess right has a chance of winning $20, $50, $100 from me, essentially. And yeah, you either get it through PayPal or via e-transfer, but be sure to check out my social medias down below. Operation Care for the Homeless is a community outreach event I will be holding April 1st, 2023, where we'll be handing out care packages to the homeless, giving out clothing like sweaters, jackets, mittens, hats, and everything like that. Basically just having a great time all together, helping the community. So if you are interested in helping with the behind the scenes work, like packing stuff or donating or anything like that, be sure to check out the Google form down below, and I would love for it to be back by March 3rd. For the people who want to help out behind the scenes. But if you even want to just come on that day and everything like that, be sure to fill out the Google form and everything, and let me know how many people would be coming with you. If you're volunteering with a group of friends or something like that, just let me know, because hopefully we can get some t-shirts done for this event. It's going to be a great time, and God bless you as you go ahead and fill out those forms. If you want to donate some money to this cause, be sure to check out the PayPal down below and just put in the little comment area of sending the money that it is for the community outreach event, Operation Care for the Homeless. Thank you, and God bless you as you guys go ahead and do so. As time has gone on, we have all been represented in many different ways in TV and film, from blackface and red lipstick signifying black people, to the over-sexualized Denzel in distress, to the mammy characters that don't seem to have no backbone and just are givers naturally. It's sickening, by the way. It even gets as bad as the whole overall Uncle Tom, Uncle Ruckus trope, the watermelon eating, fried chicken munching hooligan. Okay, and don't even get me started on the immigrants that they constantly have with thick accents every single time that are just meant to be sideline characters. Like, they're only there for comedy relief, even though there's so much potential, but not enough to be the main character, huh? However, we seem to be in the midst of an era of cultural freedom and opportunities wherever we look, where it is so rich in people of color and black people in general being represented through these storylines that are embedded in culture, laughter, and resilience. It just seems that we're truly going forward, right? But before we get into that, I'm gonna go ahead and dial it back a little bit and look at the evolution of representation in movies and TV shows. But I'm gonna say this, I'm not going to go ahead and go as far back to the mammy characters and the blackface and the Madonna / horror complex. I'm not doing that. No, ma'am, I'm not. I'm not the one. I'm not trying to re-traumatize myself just for a video this year. No, no, no. I don't care what nobody says, all right? There are so many videos on YouTube that go ahead in depth with the history, talking about all these things. I, for one, am not gonna make one. But I'll link them up above, so y'all should check it out. But yeah, let's get into it. Through the lens of the last 50 years, during the 70s, we were able to see more new and realistic storylines that really represented people of color and black people in such a way that was uplifting for them to see themselves showcased on the main stage. We had James Earl Jones playing the first black president in 1972's film, The Man, playing a successor after being senator previously, which followed the first horror black movie, Blackura. For Hispanic representation, we saw a plethora of movies at that time that were really lifting up the voices of the people. And a very particular film at that time, or documentary you might say, Guida Martinez, Our People, Our Country in 1997, was highly acclaimed and even received an Academy Award nomination for Best Documentary Subjects. For Asian representation, we got to see storylines that were embedded in strength because they were coming from a heroic perspective. We didn't see Asians on the sidelines anymore. We saw them as main characters, being very resilient and prevailing through so many obstacles. There were movies like Enter the Dragon and The Way of the Dragon with famous people like Bruce Lee. Going into the 80s, there were more intriguing storylines laced in culture that we got to see, like Valdez Voot Suit in 1981, Chan is Missing in 1982, and a sci-fi film in 1984, Brother from Another Planet. Oh wait, and I can't forget 1987's La Bamba grossing in $54.2 million in the box office and was later nominated for a Golden Globe for Best Motion Picture Drama. Moving on to the 90s and early 2000s is when I'll really say that we were in the golden ages of true POC and Black representation. Cause come on. Having movies truly depict people of various backgrounds in an amazing light with coming of age movies, sci-fi, rom-coms, and just great educational content. And we can't forget the TV shows that really molded and shaped us into seeing what representation is really like today. And honestly speaking, I've got to say that I love the 90s for its movies and TV shows in comparison to the early 2000s. Like, let's be for real. Like, Moesha, Martin Show, A Different World. Living Single, please, that's my favorite show. And let's not even forget the movies. Boys in the Hood, hello, Poetic Justice, Higher Learning, yeah, Selena, yo, The Joy Luck Club, please do not sleep on the 90s, like don't. But let's give some credit where credit is due to the early 2000s for their movies and TV shows, like Love and Basketball, Chasing Poppy, That's So Raven, Penny Proud, The Proud Family, please, Romeo Must Die, are you kidding? Like, that movie was a hit, but yeah. Even though we all witnessed the boom of representation, there seemed to be a shift towards the end of 2000s, early 2010s, where there was a whitewashing of movies and TV shows. It was as though that the white audiences, the white viewership was what they were bargaining for because they thought it was more profitable. They thought that their eyeballs and viewership was more important than the people of color and Black people that they were advertising to, that they were marketing to at a time. And also, we could also say to a certain degree that a lot of the companies that were pushing for movies and TV shows that had really large representation, they were being bought over by bigger companies that had executives that didn't look like us, that didn't have people that were really having our best interests at heart at the time. So we started to see more films and TV shows have a white cast and sprinkle in a little bit of ethnicity with one or two people of color to fill their diversity quota. And we see that in shows like Modern Family, Austin and Ally, The Big Bang Theory. And I'm not saying that those shows weren't great. They were pretty good, and they kept an audience for a very long time. And there were also movies and TV shows around that time as well that did have POC and Black representation in them. They just did not have the same hype that they did in the early 2000s and in the 90s. And it's so unfortunate because they literally just went straight through the radar. So sad. However, we began to see a resurgence of representation from about 2016 that were truly given the notoriety that they deserved from the help of strong storylines and just had great backing of writers that I would personally say that those movies and TV shows help us and put us in this position that we are today, where we can say that we saw a vast, wide range of representation. So now we are in a position of POC and Black representation that is truly pulling numbers and eyeballs to the screen and are literally making sweeps across the board at these award shows. Like, it's amazing to see that at one point in time that we were just highly acclaimed, but we weren't really winning anything, to now that we are highly acclaimed and we're literally just starting out in these movies and TV shows and we're able to really bring the gold home. Like, I love to see it. Since we got the history and evolution out of the way, let's get into the three main players, in my humble opinion, that are part of the problem of POC / Black representation we see today. Introducing the newest player on the block, Mindy Kaling. She is known for her witty roles in interesting projects that have showcased an array of talent and rigor. However, the block is saying something different with what she's been doing. From her last project, Velma, she has been labeled, and I quote, the brown Tyler Perry, as she has gone ahead yet again to showcase a character in a state of having an inferiority complex while fetishizing white men just to struggle to fit in each and every time. And I didn't understand it at first until I saw this amazing TikTok that really broke it down for me, because I see representation being a specific way as a Black woman, but this really just broke everything down to the T.
Okay, so let me try to break down the beef with Mindy Kaling in a way that Black women can understand. And I get this information from strictly listening to the voices of Southeast Asian women, okay? So apparently this particular woman has a pattern of making Indian women look weak and insecure in film and fetishes white men for some reason. Now, when I first watched Velma, I didn't think twice about it. Like, I thought it was okay. It didn't bother me. But I'm looking at the show through a Black lens. Now, here's a good example. Imagine if in this day and age, somebody created a show. And in that show, the dark-skinned girl was overweight, loud, super abrasive, and unlikable. But all the light-skinned characters were super nice, perfect, perfectionist, desired, attractive, all of the above. Black women would immediately point out the colorist trope that is being played, right? So think of it this way. Southeast Asian women are tired of this trope that Mindy keeps on peddling, that they are insecure and weak and they fetishize white men and to belong in this white world. With the show Velma, she had the opportunity to make Velma a badass, strong, smart, independent, all these things, but she didn't. Apparently she did the same thing that she always does, and they about sick of it. So while all people of color problems might not be the same, they align. And if you take a step back and look at it through their eyes, you can kind of get where they're coming from here. And it's not about hate, right? They're not just hating on her. It's about an accurate representation, or at least a diverse representation at a minimum. And why is Tyler Perry being brought into this conversation? Because he uses the light men savior trope in a lot of his films. And it's not Kenya if he's not going to give you a light-skinned woman or an interracial couple. That's just that.
Afterwards, I'll definitely say I started analyzing her projects a little bit more critically, especially the brown characters and how they're being perceived, how they navigate life, how they seem to go ahead and perceive people and their characteristics. And honestly speaking, I don't think these brown girls are wildin'. I think they know exactly what they talking about. And hey, I don't know Mindy personally, but I'll definitely say that if we're able to pick apart these trends within her brown characters and everything like that, I would say, honestly, that it could be an indicator of how she's navigated her own life and how she was being perceived, or how she thinks she was being perceived, and how she had to go ahead and navigate herself through these white spaces to get by. And I don't think it's a bad thing, but you can't separate the art from the artist in this situation. And I am not saying that she can't go ahead and explore different ways of going to describe or make these so-called characters dynamic, but it's now that you've been giving chance after chance after chance to go ahead and represent brown people in a specific light, and you consistently choose this light, this one scope. You're supposed to be giving an Indian growing up in America, and every single time it's just oh, I love white men and they're constantly going to be the love interest. Or, oh, I feel so insecure and I feel inferior to everyone else. Like, I can honestly understand why brown women are like annoyed by this certain representation being shown by you, Mindy. But hey, don't shoot a messenger. Charge it to the game, okay? The next offender, Kenya Barris. Kenya Barris has had a keen way of showcasing elaborate and dynamic Black families from shows like Blackish, Grownish, Mixedish, Black AF, with a majority of his cast passing the brown paper bag test. Like, sir, what's going on? There's a colorism problem, people. That's the issue. And I don't have a problem if you're gonna go ahead and showcase Black families, but show them in their authenticity. Like, it's as if you're going ahead to put a Black family model that is being curated by white people, that has been curated from a white perspective. It doesn't seem as authentic as it needs to be to showcase our culture. It feels as though you're using a Black family as an infomercial for white audiences. It doesn't seem concrete or foundational in any shape or form. And honestly speaking, I can't support something like that. I'm joking. I watched like almost all of Grownish and Blackish. But I won't say it's because of the storyline. I'll say it's because of the cast that he has. The cast is amazing. Like, it has people that have been goated in the Black community for decades. So I can't help but be like, oh my gosh, this is amazing, it's cool. But I can't forget the fact that it's almost like you're using Black people, Black puppets to go ahead and advertise to a white audience because it's more profitable. It doesn't seem like it's for us, by us. You understand? Like, FUBU? Yeah, it ain't giving that. It seems to have worked for him pretty well in his shows, except Mixedish only had 2 seasons, and Black AF was canceled on Netflix. So did it really work, or was it just like a gimmick? I don't know, child. I don't know. Anyways, let's move on. Last but certainly not least, the godfather of it all, Tyler Perry. And this man has been around for almost 20 years, grazing our screens with a plethora of movies and TV shows that really show Black families. Or does it? Or does it? In almost every one of his projects, there seems to be an underlining display of trauma. Just traumatic, triggering cinematography that we get to see. Whether it is a Black woman constantly struggling, being somewhat irrational in the way she moves, and never really finding someone to take care of her, or seeing the very disrespectful, rude, like completely deranged Black man she gotta deal with, and this Black man savior that seems to come and just save the day each and every time. But let's remember, he's also probably unemployed. He's probably broke. He probably actually is not really a good guy, but just seems like a good guy in the perspective of things. Like, let's be so for real right now. Why do Black women constantly need to struggle in your movies? Why does there always need to be a dysfunctional family? Like, I understand, like, yes, to a certain degree, that is some of our realities out here. You're getting millions of dollars, bro. That means a whole bunch of people are going ahead to watch these things. And they think that this is how Black people really are. This is what Black culture really is. This is how we, as people, everyday people, just go about our lives. It's a lie. This ain't us. Like, please, no. But I will not take away from the fact that he has gone ahead to put so many Black talents in his shows and his movies, and has given them some kind of take-off point to have their own individual careers. Like, let's be honest, Taraji P. Henson, like, she's been around for a long time, but Tyler Perry really put that back, you know, in her bone, you know, and pushed her where she is today. She has done so many amazing projects through Tyler Perry. And honestly speaking, growing up, I love seeing her in those movies. He's also been able to create his own production studio that is an estimated 300-acre facility. And up until recently, we started to see some more discrepancies in his line of work. For instance, he's writing whole storylines about sisters but ain't a sister in the writer's room because it's only him. He ain't got writers going ahead to, you know, stabilize his writing. He's the only one pushing out these storylines. His production over time has been waves, a whole roller coaster, because you'll see like the Medea movies be top tier, but then the Fall of Grace movie was giving very much cartoony, like weird, discombobulated cinematography. Wigs were looking crazy, it looked washed out in like some of the scenes. Some of the silly mistakes you see early filmmakers make, this man was making in this movie. Like, just tell us that it's low production. Gosh, how did that accent come in, please? Now the argument arises that we don't have enough good representation. And to say none the least, that's far from the truth. I want to go ahead and give you guys some directors that I've seen over the years really kill the game with several of their projects that don't seem to be recognized enough. And if they are, people are not recognizing that they are the director. And that's crazy. Jordan Peele, my guy, he has gone ahead to make films that honestly have made us laugh, cry, and truly moved us, Bob. If you get that reference, please comment down below. Movies like Get Out, Us, Nope, and his latest stop motion film, Wendell and Wild. The one and only Ryan Coogler, who has blessed us with films like Black Panther, Judas and the Black Messiah, Creed 1, 2, and lastly Creed 3 that's coming out later this year. Then we have Ang Lee, a Taiwanese filmmaker who is known for his emotionally charged films that explore an array of buried emotions we haven't yet seen. And last but certainly not least, Mira Nair, who is an Indian-American filmmaker who works on magnifying international storylines in both cultural and economic spheres of life. One thing that I believe what we could all do is support independent films and TV shows that are not given the global notoriety that they deserve. I'm telling you, YouTube is like the best place to be seeing new and upcoming talent that showcase POC/Black representation on the daily. Issa Rae started off from there. If you were watching her back in the day, awkward Black girl and her short films, honestly, First is so good. It's one of her like shows that she had on there. It just discontinued. And Quinta, I've been watching her since BuzzFeed days, like in 2013, 2014. And we all used to laugh at her jokes and how cool and corny she was. And now she's winning awards with her project, Abotts Elementary. Like, come on now. And TikTok is an amazing way to see new and upcoming talent on people who are really just changing the game on filmmaking in 3 minutes. Like, get into it. It's amazing. I truly believe that there's so much talent out there that is yet to be discovered. So many movies and TV shows that don't really get the chance to just take the global stage enough, and we need to support, we need to push it. I'm not saying that we don't support people who are in the movie industry. I believe that we've seen just recycled, regurgitated stuff over and over and over again, that we need to see new talent. You know, and there are new talent coming out of these directors who are going ahead to really show POC/Black representation on the daily. So let's get into it. All right, y'all, thank you guys so much for watching my video. I really appreciate each and every one of y'all. And tell me, what are some of your favorite movies? What are some of your favorite movies or eras of movies? Like I said, 90s was my favorite. And I've got to say, around that time, Brown Sugar, even though it came out like 2000, but like it's technically 90s with Taye Diggs, to be honest, but it's a great movie nonetheless. Let me know what you guys think down below. All right, y'all, it is your favorite frustrated creative Sholay signing out of this video. And remember, God made you special and he loves you very much. And you can do anything you set your mind to with Christ, of course. All right, y'all, peace.
You know what I'm talking about? Bring it back.